Hey, Johnny, can you hear me? Hello.
Yo, man,
Hey, what's up?
what's going on, brother man?
Doing good, doing good. I'm gonna have my partner come join me on here.
Yeah,
How's Austin, Texas doing right now?
I don't know how Austin's doing. I'm doing good.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I know we
Yeah,
talked last month or so. Hey man, I want to say thank you so much for one hopping on the show and before we even start and also, teaching me some things with cold calling. Oh man, I've been doing pretty good. Learning how to do it and just trying to be a skill at it. It's definitely I mean your first year. I mean, we're going to talk about it more. Let me see if my partner is hopping on.
yeah, man. I had fun chatting with you, man. We all just trying to get a little better every day, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Just closing windows on this computer, silencing the phone, all the things.
So how many appointments you got scheduled today?
Just a few today. I just hired two. One executive assistant and a marketing girl. So I've been spending most of my time just getting them on board.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
good, man. That's good. That's the goal. You gotta hire people, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah. Well, I'm listening to the book, The Millionaire.
You said what?
That's how I'm reading. I'm listening to a book, The Millionaire Agent.
Yeah.
It's definitely working. They talk about lead listings and leverage, and when you get to a certain point, The Millionaire Agent by Gary Keller. Yeah.
Yeah.
So get to a certain point, then you have to outsource. You can't do everything by yourself. You know.
Man, and maybe we'll talk about this, but real estate is such a unique business because it's like the one business where everybody treats it like a job and not a business. Because any other business, you're opening up your doors, right? Your restaurant or just whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Every other business is opened up with debt. You got to take out a fat loan to start that business. You have employees from like day one, even if you're not like chalking up revenue, right? Real
Sure.
estate's the only business where everybody's like, well, first I'm going to make a ton of money, then I'm going to hire help. Every other business, you already got people hired, right?
Yeah, you're right. And y'all just working together.
Yep.
But that's how using other people's money. How you get that leverage. You just gotta know what to do with it. Once
Yeah.
you get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Oop. There we go.
Hold on.
Yeah. I'll be right back. 1 second, bro.
Okay. Shoot. May I start without him?
Yep.
Oh, here we go. I was about to say we about to start without him. He about to hop on now. Hey, Bradford.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, doing good. Me and Johnny was having a good conversation. We wanted you to
Gotcha.
join in.
Well, when we put them in Calendly, it creates a link, Joshua.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think what you're doing is creating a second link, and so I've been jumping on the wrong calls. So
For
we're
sure.
here. We're here. That's what matters. How are you, Johnny?
Well, thank you. How about yourself, Bradford?
Can't be better.
Right on. We'll take
Can't,
it.
can't be better. I'll let Joshua kind of kick things off and get it taken
Okay.
away. Appreciate you getting on here for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome everybody to another episode of the Dream Builders Podcast, where our mission is to help buyers, sellers, agents, nonprofits, and small businesses connect to the resources and knowledge to achieving their goals. We got a special guest on another episode here. Our guest is Jonny Wells in Austin, Texas, here with the Revel Group, correct?
Revel
Rebel. I
Property.
apologize. Rebel. Group, specializing in luxury and investment. How you doing, Johnny?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, awesome. I can't forget my partner, my team lead, Bradford Page with Page Properties. How you doing?
Hey, Joshua, good to be on here again with you.
Awesome.
Excited to be learning about Johnny and the information he has to share.
For sure. Hey, Johnny is for me, he's one of the best. Again, my name is Joshua Ingram. I'm your five-star realtor with Page Properties team. And Johnny, the question I got for you, the first one, I mean, you achieved over $12 million in residential sales your first year. Can you share some key factors that uh, make your success so well known?
Yeah, I came with a unique skill set, right? I came from sales. I ran a large med device distributorship, right? So that was a unique advantage for me, right? The selling aspect, knowing what to say is kind of gave me a little bit of a head up. But I mean, most of it is, I would say, just prioritizing now business over future business, right? So that's something I see with a lot of agents is they're really focused on marketing when, where are we going to go get now business? And you got to be in front of people having conversations.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So how did you get you say you got your journey started? What got you into real estate?
Yeah, so I grew up, lower middle class, right? I never
Mhm.
wanted for nothing, but I didn't have any money, right? So then I had a lot of success in my med device career, and now I had money to toy with, and real estate just always seemed like something I wanted to play around with. So I started buying and selling properties. I started flipping properties remotely. So I was in California at the time, born and raised in California. And so I started flipping properties remotely in Dallas, Texas. And I picked Dallas just so I had a friend out there, had a few good resources that I could leverage, but mostly I just needed a place where I could afford to screw up, right? So I could buy, where I'm from in California, even then, the median price point was like 1.2 million, something like that. So I didn't want to be out of business on my first, on my first mistake.
Yeah.
So I started flipping properties. And, from there, I wanted to get my license locally in California. I did that. And that was just with the intent to start investing in California. But then I just started seeing sales opportunities all over the place. And so then I started closing deals.
Awesome. Awesome. So with the Revel Group, you mentioned your values include performance, intelligence, and accountability. How do those attributes contribute to your day-to-day activities and mentorship and coaching?
Yeah, integrity was actually the one of them. So integrity is one of the biggest ones. And I just call it do the right thing right now.
Mhm.
And it's actually missing quite a bit in real estate. We've got a lot of people, they're all kind of doing their own thing, winging it. Associations trying to make up for it, but you can't. There's just, it comes down to the people. I think most people, you don't really know what your integrity is until it's tested, right?
Mhm.
Until you put in a situation where you could like cut a corner or you could tell a white lie or whatever it might be. So that's another advantage I had in my previous career in med device. So I was in the operating room with surgeons, and I don't think that there's any career that I've ever come across that has such this like unique cost for doing the right thing. There's
Yeah.
these situations where like a hospital will make a mistake and it's a zero F up job, right? So a hospital will make a mistake and you have this opportunity to not tell the surgeon prior to surgery that, that there's this minor issue. When I know personally that this minor issue, it's like 98% chance, not going to be a problem. 98% chance we're good. And I know, however, if I tell him, he's going to think it's my fault. It's not my fault, but he's going to think it's my fault, right? So it's this real like cost for doing the right thing. However, if just one time you didn't tell the surgeon ahead of time and it was that 2% chance, you're done, right? Your whole career done, right? So I learned that reflex, pretty early on, and it shows up all the time. It shows up all the time. And when you're able to just do the right thing right now, shoot clients straight, hit them with the bad news, hit them with whatever, you'll take your relationships further faster. You'll get more referrals, all the things. It'll make your life a lot better.
Absolutely. It's always less painful to give the bad news right away than wait a day or two and try to give it then. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, the bad news is one example, but another example is just again when we a cost for doing the right thing. Like I might get less money out of this deal, right? Whatever it may be, but you just got to do the right thing right now so you can stay in business for a long time.
For sure. For sure. So when you talk about building relationship, how is it critical in the real estate business?
For building a relationship, you mean?
Yeah. So what I mean by that is how do you approach your networking or fostering connects with clients, colleagues in the industry and profession?
Okay, yeah. So how do I approach networking?
Yeah.
Well, the key, I think, or without trying to say it too concisely, so let me think with my mouth open here. Like you don't want to be on accident with networking. Like a lot of people, they go to networking and they're like, they're meeting people and they are, they're shaking hands or passing out cards, whatever it may be. And some people will take it a next step further and they'll set some kind of follow-up. And so that's great. Now we've set some kind of follow-up. But ultimately, life is busy and volume, you meet 20 people, how many can you really go deep with? So my goal is to always just go deep with one person. And I have legitimate calendar time set aside for people who I see to, one, identify people who I see as a valuable relationship, and
Mm.
then two, to solve that person's problems. Like I actually sit there and I think about it before calling them, like, what can I do for this person? Like, how can I be, especially creative? I'm all about giving out coupons, right? I want to do things for people, right? And then the last step is when you've done that appropriately, to know how to take the conversation and coach them on how to help your business and to be comfortable with being very clear about it and setting those kind of expectations. And you'll find that when you do that appropriately, there's never any pushback. And if there is, then that's great. You've now just found out that this person is not, a VIP for your business. You need to go ahead and move on.
For sure. For sure. So when you talk about the VIP, can you go more in depth with that?
Yeah. So one of my main business strategies, I call it a VIP strategy, right? And so the goal is to have a certain number of people who refer you business on a regular basis. And this is not, a past client can be a VIP, but it's more of where a lot of crossroads meet, right? So you have someone who, we got that whole know, like, you, trust you kind of thing, right? But now there's a personality type. There's some people who love to refer people, right? So that's the other golden ticket, right? If they're like me, I love to refer people. I want to be responsible for every good thing that happens in your life, including your haircut. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I got the best barber in town, right? But so now you got the right, they like you, right? You like them, right? They're the right personality type, but now you need someone who's in business, someone who's influential, right? And so preferably it's someone who's in professional services and they have their own book of business of their own, or they are, like a small business owner, someone
Mhm.
like that. And so you want to really spend time on those people and solve their problems. You call them up and they're like, hey, I'm hiring for a position. Like you want to go find the candidate for them. Like go bring them some A+ player, right? Even if they're in a different business, you want to be as creative and outgoing as you possibly can to solve their problems so that you can transition the conversation to, hey, I know, well, no, that script's too long, but you want to transition the conversation to say like, hey, can I be your go-to real estate expert for all of you and your clients, right? And there's a way to set that up. Be happy to coach anybody up on it. But that's what puts the wind at your back. You got a couple dozen of those people sending you multiple deals a year. That's a great way to do business.
For sure. For sure. And for someone that's trying to reach their goals, and they're a newer agent, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would say get off Canva and don't spend too much time on social media. For real. Like, so again, it's we got now business and future business. So social media is great. What we're doing right here is great. But for
Mhm.
someone who's brand new, most of them fail because they're keeping busy doing all kinds of stuff that doesn't drive now business,
Mhm.
right? So if you want to drive future business, you just got to have a cap on that time. That's all it is, right? So if you want to, be doing a certain amount of posts and all the things, you just have to have a cap. You got to understand this cannot take more than a couple hours a week. This cannot take more than a few hours a week, because unless you're talking to people, you're not in business. You're not in real estate, right? You have to be having conversations face to face and on the phone with as many people as possible so that you can be in the game. And so you can be turning over stones, finding opportunities, and working on your talk tracks, and learning how to get that confidence, all that kind of stuff going. So a lot of people, they spend a lot of time like fussing over their brand, and nobody cares. Somebody who doesn't know you and comes to you from like online or something, like that person might care, but like nobody else cares. You just got to be talking to people.
For sure, for sure. And looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future in your real estate business, both in achieving the mentorship and for real estate?
Man, big goals, huge goals. I mean, specifically, I want to be 100 million per year agent in the next 2 years, right? So building the team right now, just hired 2 new positions, just hired an executive assistant, just hired a new marketing manager, the kind of people who I think can, help me leverage and be more effective, building a large organization here through EXP, right? And I want to have a steady mentorship program now, right? So I've been doing my own thing, and I help a lot of people just because I enjoy doing it. But now I'm taking on a few agents, and I'm going to start with just a few that I will be formally mentoring at one time. And, hopefully I'll bump that up. We'll see. I want to get the quality right, not the quantity on that one.
For sure.
Yeah, just the way you build relationships, you want to go deep with it, not deep relations are important.
Yeah, and just being on purpose, right? Instead of being on accident, right? I go deep from just the mentor perspective, right? I'm still going deep on accident a little bit. It's just I care about people, and I'm happy to like, hey, I'll take your call. Hey, I'll make the time for you. But now I want to find the people who I identify as being most worth my time and go really deep with them. And others, they'll have to wait their turn.
For sure. For sure. And lastly, well, Bradford, you got any questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I got tons, but I don't know if we got time for we don't, you know me, Joshua, I can go on and on.
For sure,
But
for
no,
sure.
it's
Well,
been great
can we
information.
go? Well, I'm gonna go a little longer, right? So just like
Yeah.
1 or 2 more questions longer. So Johnny, tell us about how you generate your business through cold calling. A lot of agents don't have, are afraid of cold calling, but how do you break that fear in your business?
Yeah, I fortunately I don't have the issue anymore, but like I felt that issue for a long time too. That the reluctancy for cold calling, it's a real thing. I was so lucky. After college, I played football like you, and
Yeah.
I took like the first sales job that like came across me. And so for 6 months, I did recruiting for a staffing firm. It was tech staffing, and I was in this little office with 15 other people, a bunch of like young, just straight out of college. And the clock would hit 8 and everybody would pick up the phone and just start ripping. And we had numbers on the board, and I got like 2 like 22-year-old girls to my right and left, and I'm like, I can't be like punking out on the foot. They're already like on the 3rd call. Like if you go blow your nose, they're on their 3rd, 4th call, right? And so what you find out is that when you just do it, it's not a problem, right?
Yeah.
It's the hesitancy right at the first part. That is like the main issue. So one, I had just a little bit of confidence knowing that in my past, like, okay, when I was locked in a room with other people doing the same thing, it never felt like anything. So why does it feel so hard and scary now? Right. So that helped me understand that it was just a fallacy. It was something I was put on myself. But I would say the first thing, there's a couple things you could do. The first one, if you're going to be doing it by yourself, you just have to have a certain time on the clock that, man, when it strikes that time, you press dial no matter what. Like, that's it. And so for me, like 8 a.m., like I pressed dial. I would like, man, sometimes I got to like, I'm just walking in the door. I just dropped off my kids, and it like, I got to use the restroom, and it's like 7:59, and I'm like running over to my computer. Like 8 o'clock, I'm on that phone every single time. So that'll just get you through that initial. That's the first. And secondly is really, get on Zoom or Google Meet or whatever and do it with someone else on the other side. That'll help you a lot too. As long as y'all don't talk too much. Don't be chit-chatting, just like get to ripping the calls.
For sure.
So Joshua, I do have a quick question.
Okay.
I can't go without asking you, was EXP your first brokerage or did you start with someone else?
No, I've been with a couple other brokerages. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Santa Cruz, is a little beach town south of the Bay Area in California. That's where I was. We had a boutique local brokerage, but it was a billion-dollar brokerage. But they had a huge market share in that area, so it's very advantageous to be with them in that particular market. So that was great. I did a little time with Side, which is a great brokerage for somebody who's trying to build out a team. They got some business consulting when you're building a team. However, I would say diminishing returns after they get you set up. Once they get you set up, it's kind of like, well, that was really useful, that consulting, that was nice, but now I'm all set. And like, you guys are just charging me, an uncapped commission, in perpetuity now, and there's no additional value. So EXP is absolutely, I think for 9 out of 10 agents, maybe more than that, it's going to be the best choice for most people.
What's the top 2 reasons that you find it value in EXP?
Yes, coming from a different industry, right? Especially when you're talking about splits and commissions and all these kind of things, I look at things via the route of cost. Like, what does it cost me, right? And so if a new agent is going to be on a team, like, what does that cost me, right? Now, the benefit, of course, like new agent on a team, right? You're going to get thrown in the mix and you're going to have some processes. Hopefully, maybe you're going to have some leads. Like, I think it's really beneficial for a new agent to join a team, all day, do that. But for me, sorry, I got my contact is moving on me. I look at it through the lens of cost. And so with EXP, you're just able to recoup the vast majority of your commission, if not all of it. And so now I can repurpose that, right? I can invest that in the business. Some people are just going to, hey, put that in their pocket. But for me, I want to have, I want to have an ISA. I want to have an executive assistant. I want to have a transaction manager, all these things that if you were in any other business other than real estate, you would have a staff. All of our lenders all have staff, right? I mean, we are the only business where people expect they have this weird vision about not having a staff unless they're really a high, performing agent. So EXP, the number one thing is just the commission structure. You get your money back and put it in your business.
Yeah, so talk about getting it back. Some people don't understand that. I mean, you pay 20% until you hit 16,000, but actually, if you do enough business, you become a true 100% brokerage.
Yeah, true 100% brokerage. If you do enough business, if you what we call icon, right? However, it's better than that. So first off, 16,000 for broker services is nothing. It's nothing. It might as well be nothing. And if you don't have the the goals and the timeline and the staying power to be in real estate and to the point where you see that as nothing, where your income is like, that makes sense all day, then real estate's just a part-time thing for you. And, that's great for you, but we're not going to relate super well. However, half of that 16,000 is earmarked to be returned to the agents through stock and revenue share, right? So the company runs on and profits off of half of top line revenue, right? Half of that 16,000, right? Which is 8,000, right? So that the 8,000 of that 16 I'm paying is coming back to me via the people who I have on my team and stock that's returned to me. It's not directly, but it happens over time and it snowballs and it's coming right back to me all day. And then, like you said, when we do a certain amount of volume and a certain amount of or dollars, right? We're going to get that 16,000 back in the form of stock, and we can take that to the bank.
For sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For sure. So, Jonny, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, y'all call me. Just call or email. It's johnny.wells@revelpg.com. So Johnny without an H. And you want me to tell them my phone number? You want to put that in notes or?
Oh, you can tell them your phone number they want to call you.
Yeah.
We're off in Texas.
Yeah, we're in Austin, Texas, Central Time. So don't call me early, 512-241-5486. Actually, I'll be up. I'm up at 5. So we're rocking.
Just not answering the phone necessarily.
Yeah. No, I got some sacred time too. Oh man, hey, I'd be remiss. you know, people in their morning routines are crazy. That's such a hype, sexy thing now. And like, you got these people with 3-hour morning routines. If y'all have ever learned, what's the, man, what's the, oh, you know, Hermosi, that guy, what he says, and he's so damn true. Like, the best morning routine is whatever gets you to work the fastest, right? Just get up and get going. Like, people do these, some people do these 3-hour routines and they're just letting anxiety build up throughout the day. They're just like avoiding things. Just get up and get to work. You know, if you're going to like go hit the gym or whatever, then that's, you know, that's great. Like, do the things you got to do, but get up and get moving. Just start.
Yeah.
Yeah, no need to create space fillers first thing in the morning. They'll come
crazy.
along throughout the day anyway.
And I've done it too. I've fallen into that. And like, you know, I'm like, all of a sudden I've been doing stuff for 2.5 hours and I haven't even started working. And I'm just like, what is happening here? And I realized I was just like putting things off, and it was just building up anxiety. You can't, you know, go barefoot outside and get sunlight and meditate and journal. You know, you can't do all these things every day before you even get started. Just get to work. Pick 1 or 2 things you love that fill you up, and then get to work.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Johnny. Our podcast is sponsored by Page Properties Team, the Dream ENT, Real Estate for a Reason, and make real estate fun again. Thank you so much, Jonny Wells, EXP agent in Austin, Texas, the Revel Group, specializing in luxury and investments. Thank you so much, Johnny, for coming out.
Yeah, it's fun stuff, man. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully we'll see you in Miami.
Oh yeah, let's make it happen.
All right, appreciate it.
Y'all be blessed. Peace.